Yeah, right. That. Yep. And you got the ABS recording happening. Yeah. Just waiting for it to show up, which probably doesn't really matter, but there it is there. Hi everybody, welcome to show 265 Aussie Mac Zone. And we're lucky tonight, we've got a special guest, David. How are you, David?
I'm well, thank you, Michael. How are you?
Very good, thank you. Very good. And Zarn is here as well. How are you, Zarn? Very, very good. Now, we're brought to you tonight by startnewcompany.com.au and athwebhosting.com.au. Welcome back to ATH Web Hosting. So our Aussie Apple Ramblings is, we've got our special guest, David, an optometrist from South Australia. So thanks for coming along, David.
My pleasure. Thank you for inviting me.
No, it's great. And as I said, any listener that wants to come along, do what. Hopefully, it won't take me as long to get back as it took me to get back to David. But yes, so we'll get more of David's story soon. But study shows Apple Watch health insurance deals yield substantial increase in exercise. Now, 9 to 5 Mac informs us over the last year they've seen an uptick in the number of health insurance providers offering Apple Watch-based incentive to clients. One of those providers is Vitality Insurance, which recently conducted a study on how much offering tangible rewards can motivate people to increase their level of exercise. Now, as reported by the Financial Times, Vitality drew its insights from data gathered through 400,000 people. Not a bad little group to study. Now, Adrian Gore, Vitality Insurance founder, explained that devices such as the Apple Watch have a remarkable opportunity to make society healthier. For the study, participants paid an upfront cost of £99 for their Apple Watch Series 4 or £9 for a Series 3, and from there they were burdened with a monthly charge of £12.50. But that charge varied depending on how much exercise they performed. Those recording the most exercise through their Apple Watch did not have to pay any monthly fee. Now, Gore explained that this model creates loss aversion, meaning that participants were motivated to stay active. Otherwise, they could lose their free access to Apple Watch. Now, regarding the study, Apple's Chief Operating Officer, Jeff Williams, remarked that the results are an exciting indicator of how much more we can achieve.
I think I'd rather pay the £12.
Yeah, there is a Vitality Insurance in Australia. Now, I don't know whether it is the same company, but they do have lots of rewards on their page, from cheap spa days to other things. They didn't have any Apple Watch specials, so as I said, I don't know whether it's the same one, but yeah.
Yeah, health funds offer stuff sometimes to incentivize getting fitter by offering better deals, but I haven't seen anybody with a watch. No.
No. Yeah. Yeah, I can just see us at midnight when it says a quick run around the block for 9.5 minutes will close your ring and you'll get a free watch this month. So, yeah. Now, like I said, anybody that wants to be on the show, like our new superstar David, please get in touch. Now, yeah. Oh, thank you, sir.
45 again.
Yeah.
Well preserved.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. I'm surprised anyone in the family still talking to me because we went for a walk on Saturday and it ended up being 8.5 kilometres. So we got our free watch for the day. I know. So am I, mate. So am I. But anyway, we had a great time with the kids, so that was all right. Now,
I'm getting a text from my daughter saying she can't hear Zarn. So
that's funny because we're getting okay. Can't hear Zarn. I'll do an hang on. I'll come and do an interference. Hang on. Oh.
Okay.
Funny because we can hear that maybe if we're on Zoom together. Let's see what happens.
Okay. Hi Rhonda, if you're watching still. Hello? I don't know if anyone can even hear me.
Is the microphone line moving now you're talking?
Yes, I am. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep, it's definitely moving.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well.
Hopefully people can hear me now.
actually, well, my daughter just said you're working now. So
oh, yeah, we fixed it.
Monitor.
well done, David's daughter.
I reckon. You're hired.
Yes.
I'll just negotiate her fee down for you.
Now, here's a little challenge for us. I've got my comments at the end. So there's a class action suit alleges iMac and MacBook lack dust filters, causing display and performance problems. Now, also from 9 to 5 Mac, Apple is facing a new class action lawsuit claiming that it sells iMac and MacBook models without needed dust filters. In turn, this causes issues such as display implications, slowing performance, and more, the lawsuit alleges. The class action suit comes from a notable foe of Apple's. Now, the iMac and MacBook lawsuit is being brought forward by law firm Hagens, Berman, Sobel, Shapiro, which is a class action litigation firm that has gone after Apple before. Most notably, the firm won the infamous $450 million ebooks pricing case against Apple. Since then, Hagens Berman has levied other suits against Apple, including one regarding performance throttling of iPhones.
Yes.
The latest lawsuit alleges that MacBook and iMac models sold since 2013 lack necessary dust filters. Essentially, while the machines intake air to cool components, the lack of a filter means dust gets trapped inside. This ultimately leads to black spots on the screen and performance problems when the dust gets stuck inside. iMac and MacBook owners have reported dark smudges and spots on the interiors of screens on their desktops, as well as excessive slowness and breakdowns of the computers related to a lack of a filter. The computer intakes air to cool its components, but with no filter, dust gets trapped inside. This affects the screen and logic board, leading to dust stuck behind the screen and gummed up motherboards, causing the computer to run slow and or overheat. Now, my two bob is I can't think of any computers in the modern age that actually have filters,
None.
Mac or PC. having a filter would make the fans run louder because they've got to suck the air through the filter, and the filters would get clogged a lot quicker and therefore make the fans run even louder and cause overheating all the time.
Yep.
Now, the only time I've dealt with a dirty screen issue was smoke from an ashtray that was placed under the vent on the bottom of an iMac. And it was one where the glass, you could take the glass off, and I cleaned it.
Yep.
I'm unaware of any dirt being able to get into the screen of the thin iMacs, which is the ones they're talking about, as the screens are actually sealed all the way around. The screen and the glass of the LCD is sealed. So,
My
I flat out don't believe it.
I don't believe it. How old is my iMac? My iMac's old, and I've never had a problem with anything like that. When we pulled it apart, put the new hard drives and stuff like that in it, and everything like that, there was hardly any dust in there anyway.
Yeah.
And no, sorry.
So, I have seen dust in there. I'll admit that, but
yeah, there's definitely dust in there, but just not to the point of what they're talking about.
Yeah, and definitely not in the newer screens. Definitely not in the newer screens. So.
I've also got a PC. I have a laptop and a PC at home. I've got like a Mac, I've got a PC, I've got everything. None of them have filters. None of them have this issue.
Zarn, you own a PC. I thought you were a Mac guy. I'm sort of...
I am.
Bad.
I am a Mac guy. But I've also got a PC because, I got given it by Michael actually because he didn't want it.
Really?
I don't have rubbish in the house, mate.
That's right. So he brought it to mine. Thanks, Michael.
That's why you don't live here anymore.
That's right.
Now, something that happened really weird when I was... thank you. I was doing I don't know if it was coincidental, but I was doing a system upgrade on my Mac, and I walked away while it happened, and then out of the top, somewhere from the computer, this hiss of dust just went out of the top of the screen, at the top of the case somewhere. I have no idea why. I foolishly assumed that, maybe it's the computer's really clever and it's clearing itself out or something. But nothing happened from it. It was just like really freaky whether something got hot or a bit of moisture or something. But the computer's fine. Like I've had it since 2013. It hasn't missed a beat. But it was quite... I have no idea how or why it could possibly happen.
Maybe there was just a little bit of a clump of dust on the back fan, for example. And it's just been sucked in and the fan's broken it up. And maybe.
Yeah.
You know, I'm just... Because there's 3 fans on iMacs. So one.
Really?
Yeah.
I can't hear them for love nor money.
No. There's three of them there, but.
Oh, okay. Wow.
One for the GPU and one for the CPU and one for the hard drive. So.
Gee, because I assumed the whole thing was just completely solid state with no moving parts. I tell you, it's so quiet. I can't tell.
That's right. That's right. Now. A reminder this week, we are brought to you by startnewcompany.com.au. So when you're trying to establish your own first company, David, you've probably been through this, all the paperwork you've got to do, and you've got to keep doing, which is part of the thing that you have to realise. There are commitments all the way through. But startnewcompany.com.au, you can look up, make sure your name's available, do all the ASIC paperwork you have to do. You can start and stop all the time to get up there, and then at the end you've got a new registered company with all the correct paperwork, which is great, and it's not that hard to do. Just take a little time when the first time you've ever done it, but $578, and you can do that, and you go on from there. You can do your yearly reports that you have to do and things like that. So startnewcompany.com.au. Go and have a look, browse through it. Gives you all the rundown of what you need to do just to get started.
Excellent.
Now, David, how did you get started in the Apple world, my friend?
Well, I had a younger sister who was a bit brighter than me because she was involved with newspapers setting up database, so it was closer to computers than I was. This is sort of in the oh god, in the 80s, and I think back then owning a personal computer wasn't actually such a common thing. Like now, it's just everybody's got one.
No, that's right. Yeah.
And so I said, what do I buy? And she said, well, knowing how computer literate I think you're not, I think you should. So she directed me to Apple, and I had to go back and look it up because she started me off with, oh god, it wasn't the SE. I think it was a Mac Plus. So the one with the tiny screen and and so and I think that plus a 9-dot matrix printer cost me about $4,000 back then.
Yeah.
And then and I never looked back since then. Although there was a hiatus for a few years where, because if you're being involved in committees and things, if you're trying to exchange documents, especially Word stuff, there was a time when it was hard to go between Windows and Macs.
Yeah.
So I defected for a while, for a few years, but now for the last 10, 12 years, just Macs all the time. So, but I actually, there's about 8 of them that I've been through in the last 20 years, I reckon.
Yeah.
20 years. So, including the very old PowerBook laptop, the little grey things with the. Yeah, and
I've still got one of the little, the little power books that you actually put in like a VHS tape into the into a unit that then had the outside the screen. So you have the laptop, you take it away, do your work, come back, plug in, and it suck the computer in, connect to it, and then you'd have everything on the screen with your keyboard and stuff.
Yeah. I mean, what you paid back then, the value compared to what you get now, it's just so different.
Yeah.
I mean, it's amazing now, but back then you didn't know any better, and it was really quite good then. So Macs have just been. I've stayed on them because now that I know the software, and because of the interconnectivity with my phone and the iPad, and now even better with iCloud, it's just all so smooth that I don't really want to change because I don't want to spend the time doing it, but generally the reliability of Macs has been so good.
Yeah.
And I have mates who have Windows, and it seems to me whenever there's a systems upgrade, they've got to do a patch the next week to actually sort something out. And and they just seem to be far more problematic. And I hear people spending hours reloading and resetting up their software, and I don't. So
All right.
My sister set me the right direction.
She did.
Yeah.
She did. Does she still use a Mac?
No. She's she never. She's always been Windows. She just.
Oh yeah.
And so I don't think. I don't think she ever will. But.
And I'll ask you about your phone shortly, but we'll do some more stories, and then we'll come back to your phone story, because I know you've got a phone story as well. So
I do.
Yeah. So this wasn't on the story list, but noticed the other night, Zarn, was it Netflix we were watching where it had that little thing about Disney going off air in February next year?
Yes, that's right. I only noticed it. What was it? Oh, yesterday when you came over, I was watching Disney XD with the children, of course. Not because the Marvel Avengers were on. But and it said that that Disney XD will soon be closing, and hopefully it's just a name change. And then actually not taking it away from Fetch, because I love Disney XD. To be honest, I get some great cartoons on there. I've recorded a whole series of Gravity Falls, and this for me and the kids, but I'm a big cartoon head anyway, so it's okay. But yeah, I don't know when or what's going to happen, but
so we don't know whether it's to do with Disney launching their own streaming service, but does that mean they're going to launch worldwide straight away, or what? I don't know. I know they've got a big office in Australia anyway.
Yeah. So, if they do a streaming service like Netflix, like Disney, man, I am on that. I love Disney movies. Like they're fantastic,
Yeah.
and their cartoon series, like everything. Like it's just so good. They make the best cartoons, the best movies, and that. Me and my boys watch them all the time.
So, now, onto a little serious note here. Hackers are opening SMB ports on routers so they can infect PCs with NSA malware. Now, ZNet reports Akamai has detected an ingenious malware campaign that alters configurations on home and small office routers to open connections towards internal networks so crooks can infect previously isolated computers. The way hackers achieve this, Akamai said, is via a technique known as UPnP or UPnP proxy, which the company first detailed in April last year. The technique relies on exploiting vulnerabilities in the UPnP service installed on some routers to alter the device's network address translation tables. Now, tells everything. Tells the outside world what's actually on your inside network. That's basically what we're talking about. So someone says, I want to talk to the iMac, it actually comes in, gives it an IP address and lets you start talking to your iMac, because your iMac's broadcasting saying, this is who I am. So, yeah. Now, they refer to this particular route hacking as eternal silence, and named derived from the use of eternal blue exploits and the silent cookie, and the name of a malicious NAT table entries. The company also published instructions at the bottom of the report on how to remove malicious NAT table entries from affected routers. So in the show notes, there will be a link to the Akamai site. It's at the bottom of story 3 after the link going to the actual story. Now here's another one. Everyone's been saying, Apple's reduced production of the phone and none of the phones are selling. So Apple says the iPhone XR has been its top selling iPhone since launch.
Yep.
CNET is reporting Apple's iPhone XR has been outselling the XS and XS Max every day since the cheaper, colourful phone hit the market last month. Greg Joswiak, Apple's Vice President of Product Marketing, told CNET in an interview that the device has been our most popular iPhone each and every day since the day it became available.
Oh, wow.
Apple showed off its 3 new iPhones in mid-September and started selling the XS and XS Max in the 21st of September, and it didn't start selling the XR until October 26th. Now, the news comes amid worries about iPhone demand. Apple's fiscal fourth quarter results at the beginning of November showed the company may be grappling with a case of iPhone fatigue, but it's still getting people to shell out more money for the phones they do buy. Apple said it didn't sell as many iPhones as analysts expected that ended September 29, and it projected lackluster revenue results in December quarter. Well, Apple also said it would no longer detail unit sales and major devices, a reversal from its strategy since introducing the products. So, yeah, we'll see what happens.
So, on that note, what's your favourite colour?
David?
The new colours, I've just got an old Mac S iPhone SE, so as I've not been in the market, I haven't actually looked, but the ad I did see, I think on telly with the colours, they were pretty nice, but I prefer the rosy gold type colours myself.
They've got well, their rosy gold one it's more of a peach now, because I went and looked at them yesterday, I think it was, or the day before that, and sorry.
No, go on.
Yeah, and so they've got a great blue one, a great yellow one, an excellent red one. It's so vibrant, and then their rosy gold, sort of peachy sort of colour one. I really liked the peach one. I like the yellow one more, but I was with Kellyanne at the time, and she loves the peach one, and I think they're great. I think the colour of the phone, you can you feel like it's a little bit personalised because you've chosen the colour that you want. And I think they've done a great job. The phone they're really easy to use. So
as a fairly regular listener to this show, I'm now forming the opinion that you're in a iPhone shop about once a week, Zarn?
Yes, yeah, I am. I'm always looking at new gadgets and what they're bringing out.
Dear, I thought I was geeky, but I think I've just been eclipsed.
I take
Do
my
you really
kid.
reckon Apple will stop telling us how many units of stuff they've sold? I can't really.
Yeah, they'll only bring it out. See, the people that, like, when they're doing their investor discussions at the end of every quarter, those people are only interested in the money. They're not interested in the numbers.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
We're interested in the numbers, but we don't count because we're not investors. We're
That's
only
right.
people who buy the stuff.
Yeah.
Well, how much was one single Apple share recently? Like, just even to buy one.
Yeah.
To shell out. So yeah.
Yeah. So there are companies that will let you buy one Apple share.
Really?
Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you get it. You put in a frame. Put it on the wall.
I'd put it in a bloody safe.
Dear.
But my favourite colour phone. I don't know whether everyone loves the yellow and the coral.
Which one's the coral? Is that the pink one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But I'd probably go white because my company logo looks better on the back of it.
Yeah.
Because it's got a lot of white on the company logo.
I knew you were going to say it. You always choose the white one.
But that's so I can advertise. That's the only reason.
Well, if they had more of an orangey one, then that'd suit the logo for our practice. But
yeah.
If there was, if there was an orange one, if there was an actual orange one, Mike would be all about that anyway.
Oh yes, yeah. I'd be able to. KTM orange, and I'd be there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, Microsoft is worth as much as Apple. How did that happen? Now, the New York Times has a story just a few years ago, and it was only a few years ago. Microsoft was seen as a lumbering has-been of the technology world, but it was big and still quite profitable. But the company had lost its luster, failing or trailing in the markets of the future like mobile, search, online advertising, and cloud computing. Its stock price language inching up 3% in a decade through to the end of 2012. But it's a very different story today. Microsoft is running neck and neck with Apple for the title of the world's most valuable company. Both worth around $850 billion, thanks to a stock price that has climbed 30% over the last 12 months. That's not bad, is it? 30%.
it's incomprehensible. Those numbers.
Yeah. Now, at the end of trading, Microsoft was just ahead of its long-time rival. That was last Friday. So what happened? There is a short-term explanation for Microsoft's market rise, and there's a long-term one. The near-term stock trading answer is that Microsoft has held up better than others during the recent sell-off of tech company shares. Apple investors are worried about a slowdown in iPhone sales. Facebook and Google face persistent attacks in their role for distributing false news and their capacity to do it, and investor concerns to their privacy policies could scare off advertisers. So, yeah, we're talking lots of money, but yeah, it would have been nice picking up that 30% increase. You'd be happy then.
Well, I think if they're gonna, it's on the one hand, I think the benefit of that is the public. If you've got two big companies neck and neck, and they're going to keep on finding it out for their products and market share, then hopefully the consumer is the winner.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And
Absolutely.
we all understand and know why that Microsoft were failing. Like their search engine, well not the search engine, but we might as well call it that, was horrible. Like Internet Explorer was absolutely rubbish. And they had to get rid of it, and they did. And it's now sort of moving back up. Even the interface for Windows 10 is now very much more accessible, like Mac is. And they've gone that same way. And this is why, and then also, sort of working in with other companies like Dell and stuff like that with their Alienware products and things like that. And that's why they're sort of creeped up in that world, because gamers will always spend money on PCs. So.
Could I make an observation?
Yeah.
Please.
Okay. when you buy a computer, like not so much with Macs, but Windows, well, it might not be relevant right now because of Windows 10, but when you bought a Windows computer, you knew that with the next 12 months, there was going to be something wrong.
Yeah.
You were going to have a software issue. You were going to have something that had to be fixed up. Now, if I go and buy a car, and the car salesman says to me, Dave, in the next 12 months, something's going to go wrong. So, look, I'm sure Windows.
You'd say, why Holden? Why?
Yeah. So, so I just offended a whole lot of Windows users. But mate, if you're gonna you buy something where you expect a problem, where you unconsciously been schooled into, that's what's going to happen,
and it's acceptable. It was never acceptable.
Yeah. It was not. It's not. And this is where you get some of my mates that are huge PC users and stuff like that. They only use PC and swear by it, but they're running their own systems. Like they're everything they've built their computer, built it for themselves. And so they have the power and the capacity so it doesn't break down and something doesn't fail. And if it is a software issue, and they're like, well, I just won't use that. I'll go and find something else and use aftermarket software. And so yeah, that was how people were fixing things. But they've come good. I'm not going to say like I wouldn't buy one now. I had an Alienware for a year, and I got rid of it. It was terrible. It was really bad. I didn't understand why. Everyone was raving and ranting about them, and I wanted to try this, Alienware gaming computer, and it was terrible. I didn't like it at all.
Any small business owner has had to develop a computer knowledge by default.
Yep.
They've had to become problem solvers.
Yep.
Yeah. It's not right.
No, so see, I come from. Like I work on computers, right? And that's what I've done for a long, long time. So at one stage, I'm looking after a company, an area that had say 450 pieces of Mac gear, screens and computers, and and the most I was there was half a day every day. Right? That's the most I was there. And when they had 450 PCs, they had 1.5 full-time staff.
Yep.
So that's three times more people, effectively, to look after the same amount of gear.
Yeah. My mate Wayne worked for the dairies in Queensland. I won't say which one, but I'll just say he worked for the bigger dairy company in Queensland. And he was one of the IT guys there, and he was always pulling his hair out. Always. There was always a breakdown with a machine. There was always a software issue every day. Every day.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. It's just, I won't go through all the stories, but it's just drives me. Windows drives me mental. That's why I avoid it like the plague. So. Now, David, your iPhone story. Tell us your iPhone history, my friend, because I know you've got a history. That's all. So.
Well, I would say this goes back a few years now, but I happened to be in a phone shop in Adelaide, CBD, and I'd heard about the iPhone and heard about it, and then but it hadn't been released in Australia. And these guys, off their own bat, had somehow got the original iPhone into the country.
Yeah.
And they were selling it. And I said, well, how does that work? And they said, well, I think the term was jailbreak. So they just cracked open the software somehow. So I said, oh, we'll have one. And went home and showed it with great delight to my partner, who thought I was just nuts for spending that much money on a phone. But that's okay. I was happy. And so two things happened after that. One is I got sucked in by a software upgrade, which promptly put it back to, once I did that and clicked on the wrong thing, which I should never have done, it then came up with a thing to connect to AT&T, which is an American carrier.
Yeah.
So I just went back to the shop and said, what have I done? They said, that's okay, we'll just jailbreak the phone for you. So 2 weeks later, I had it back again. And then I rang Apple because I had a question about the phone. And I said, well, what about this? And they go, well, it can't work yet. It's, we haven't released it yet. And I said, but I'm ringing you on one now. and she wasn't very, the conversation sort of ended, really. I was just like, oh, well, I can't help you. And okay, goodbye.
She hadn't been trained on it.
No. So, and ever since then, of course, I've actually, whenever there was an upgrade, I was just onto it. So either as soon as I could either change the plan and upgrade, or I would just keep on going until I got to the 6S, which was just a little bit big for my own tastes, and the limiting factor.
Are you talking about the Plus or just the S?
Oh no, the Plus. Sorry, no, the S, because that's only a little bit bigger. The 6 was just a bit bigger than the previous one from memory.
Yep.
So, but the thing was that then didn't fit my neat little charging cradle in the Mini.
Yep.
Which incidentally is also orange, but yeah. And so I went to Mini and said, look, have you got something that will fit this size phone? And they said, well, no. So I gave that one to my partner, and that's when I got the then current model of the SE, which is the right size. And I've had this one now for probably, I don't know, 4 years.
Yeah.
But and I don't really know if I haven't been in the shop for ages to work out if there's a new version of it that I can replace. It's getting a bit
XR.
Yeah.
Sorry? Is that what the XR is?
Yeah.
Is that the same size?
Well,
No.
No, it's heaps bigger. Yeah.
No, it's got to fit. It's got to fit the charger in the Mini. So. No.
Or you could get a new stereo.
Yeah.
Buy a new car. It's time for a new car. Fit the new phone.
You know what? The hell with the expense of the phone. Let's just get a new car. Okay. Yeah.
I think the
It'll
Clubman,
make the phone look cheaper.
the new Clubmans look fantastic.
Yes.
Yeah, well, you need one that big to put the phone in the back because it's so big.
My mate's got a Clubman. It's beautiful.
I know I can go home with a new phone, but I can't go home with a new car.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Well, I had a neighbour who worked for a big company. When the iPhone was released, he was going to America for a meeting. So I said, "Can you buy one of these for my wife for Christmas?" So he picked one up while he was over there, and like you say, we had to jailbreak it and make sure she wouldn't hit the auto update button.
Yep.
Until we knew that the next jailbreak was available.
Yep.
Had to do that each time. But yeah, so that was our start. She had an iPhone before I did. I had a Motorola that you had to, had the little pen to go with it. Yeah.
The Razor.
Yeah.
Oh no, the pen.
Razor, but yeah.
Oh yeah, it's like a BlackBerry.
Yeah, but not with a keyboard.
Yeah.
Just still different.
Yeah,
That's because it had software that you could sync your calendar with your Mac and that sort of stuff. So yeah.
I just want an iWatch with a projectable 3D holographic screen.
You and me both. Like, come on.
Won't be long.
Imagine being on the train and you'd be able to like watch Netflix on your watch because it's 3D.
If you look at it, really the stuff we use now is the stuff of science fiction when we were kids.
Oh, I know. We've passed that. We've passed it.
Yes.
So if we're talking science fiction, we're like talking Star Trek and stuff like that. The flip phone, the Razor, which I was talking about.
Yes. Oh, yeah, I used to love that little Razor.
Yeah. That's next generation. Like that's like Star Trek Next Gen. They've got the little flips, and so even they had them as well, bigger ones with Captain Kirk and stuff. But yeah, that there, and then you've got was it with Janeway? It was Voyager.
Yes.
Voyager.
Yeah.
And in Voyager they had the pads and they had the iPads. And stuff like that, and now we've succeeded those. Our phones are now pads as well, So like we're beyond Star Trek now. Like,
but where's the teleporters?
I know the teleporters. I also want a hoverboard from Back to the Future.
Oh dear.
But if you're up the future, you could bring one back.
That's true.
True.
Yeah.
Either that or just the DeLorean, the time machine would be fine.
Yeah. This week, you ready, Zarn?
I am.
We are brought to you by athwebhosting.com.au. You remember them? Affordable web hosting, all from $9.95 per month when paid annually. You can have 250 scripts installed with one click. You got Joomla. You got the cPanel, which is an industry standard for controlling your website. Really, really, really simple to use. There's great new software for making a web page, making them all look different. So athwebhosting.com.au. Just remember them. Very good. Just go and have a look. Be surprised. Now, auto correction upgrade. Now, personally, I've just noticed that when I'm messaging someone, and I've got to send my address out lots to tell people where I am so they can bring machines to me. It now adds the suburb in the autocorrect field and leaves it there because I add a comma after the street name. And it leaves the suburb in there even though I've put a comma in there. Yep. Why the comma? That's so the maps will work correctly. So it doesn't just go, this is your street address. It actually finds the street in the right suburb instead of choosing the one in Bullamakanka or out in the sticks in Adelaide somewhere.
It's been
Whyalla or something like that. You
know? So how long have you noticed this for? How long did you? Yeah,
only a few weeks now, so I don't know whether it's one they've snuck in one of the last updates or.
Because my phone had been doing that for a while, but I don't know if it had a comma there or not. But when I typed my address in, the whole address came in with Penrith, New South Wales, and then say 2750. And so I noticed that, especially because we all have our phones set at home. It's all the same address. I don't know why my phone is set to your home address, but it bloody is. I can't get it. For some reason, I can't get it changed. Couldn't get it to change to number 3, but now that I've moved, I could change it to where I live now. I don't know. Anyway, but no, it's been doing that. Well, I noticed it before we left.
Yeah. All right. So I only just noticed it. So it does make it simple if you're going to do that sort of thing. Keep looking at what's actually in your auto address fields. It might make it easier for you to speed up your typing. Now, has anyone got any other stories that they want to add or comment about? Or
I've got a good news story about a lost credit card.
Yeah, go for it. Yeah.
Well, I lost my credit card.
It was yours. Wasn't a good news story where someone lost their credit card, you found it and you could use it. Wasn't that good a story? No.
But I'm an avid Apple Pay. Like I'm with the ANZ Bank.
Oh yeah,
and so I lost my credit card, and so which I found 2 weeks later in a drawer at work. But I thought, okay, so as I'm thinking it's lost, I rang the bank and said, I've lost the card, which card, yada, yada, yada. So it was all set out. And I had a replacement card on my Apple Pay on my phone, totally unexpected, within about 24 hours.
Yeah.
Wow.
I could just use it normally. I was just gobsmacked. Like the actual card took another week to come through, but it was just, and I didn't ask the ANZ to do so, I didn't ask Apple to do it. It just happened. It was just like, so my inconvenience factor, because I use my phone or I watch for just about any transaction now. Actually, ANZ, you can just tap your phone on some of the ATMs now.
Yeah, that's right. Yep.
Oh, it's awesome. So I don't carry my wallet because I've got my driver's license on my phone with my SA Gov app.
Shut up. We don't care about
that. But you just keep the phone charged in the car. It's great. So that's on my lost card. It's, of course, finding it the next 2 weeks later in the drawer at work was not such a happy moment. But
Well, you got your license on your phone. Yeah. Well, I've got my Woolies Rewards card. All right. So. We're soon to get the licenses on our phones, aren't we? And Michael, you're going into the beta.
They're still testing them, looking forward to that.
South Australia once again.
New South Wales.
Yeah. So you were ahead of us in desalination, ahead of us, come on.
In energy,
exactly.
Battery backup that works.
Yep, that's right. Thank you, Tesla.
There was an article about, you're talking about the one at Jamestown,
and
apparently that has actually responded far faster than they actually anticipated, and has stabilised the grid far more than they thought. It's just way beyond their expectations, apparently. So, yeah.
And I think it's great.
Yeah.
Oh, I just, it's just the way.
It is.
Yeah.
My house is powered by all renewables. So we went with a small company. We pay a little bit extra, but all our power comes through is from renewable energy.
Oh, good on you.
Yep.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yep. Way of the future. Well,
Yes.
I'm a massive car head too. Like I love cars and I love raw power, the drags, everything like that. But I still think these electric cars like the Teslas and stuff like that, they're the way of the future. Like if we want to go fast still and we don't want to kill the planet, then we need to take notice of what they're doing. Because we can still do our burnouts, we can still, do even quicker, takeoffs, everything like with the electric cars. I've seen the proof that Tesla are faster than most of the cars that I like. So, yeah.
No, I'm good on you.
Michael?
I had this is a tip. So I had an issue with I'm still using a Series 1 watch at the moment, and the crown button felt funny, wasn't working. When you push the crown in, it wasn't working properly all the time. And I had a close look, and there was a bit of crud around the outside of the crown. So what I got was some floss, and you can actually push that around, get it around. I wasn't pushing it in; I was coming around from the side of the crud to get it out, and it got it all out there, and it's been working perfectly ever since. So just back to normal, easy as it was, and I just used some floss to get around between the crown and the case. That's just a little tip for you.
There you go.
One of the best tips I ever heard you gave, Michael, was when you talk about saving versions of things, to do a date in reversal, like 2018, then the month, then the day, and I actually use that for saving lots of things in that order, because then if you want to look something up, it's
always in order, isn't it?
Oh, best tip ever. Best tip, really. So, I have trouble getting sometimes one of our team. I was asking them to save a document in that way, and I just had a little bit of trouble. I think just sort of breaking through there. So I think I've got another couple of months of just persistence on that one. But
what you do is you keep getting them to look up stuff. Whoever they are, just get them to keep looking up stuff.
Oh,
and they'll go, "Oh, this is crap."
Yeah.
Yeah, it just saves hours. Like.
Yeah. Nah. Very, very cool. Thank you.
Excellent. I'm glad. Now, I had an iPhone coming this week that when you selected the Maps app, it would bring up the whole screen and have the grid, but there wouldn't be any actual maps of streets. It'd just leave you the grid with a blue dot in the middle of it. And then the only way I could fix it was I went in and I had to turn screen time off, because you've got to turn screen time off when you want to remove apps nowadays. We talked about that a couple of weeks ago.
We did.
I removed the map app, then just went in and re-downloaded the Maps app, and all good, fixed.
Oh, excellent. Well, that sounds simple fix.
If you ever have that weird thing, don't know why it happened.
Yep.
But yeah,
excellent.
Because the app was still there, so it's just lost its data, or the data had been misplaced or something.
Maybe it was with an update or something like that. Maybe it just decided that it wasn't gonna, deal with it, and
Yeah, so that was how we fixed it. Just remove the app altogether. You hold it there, you get the X on the top left-hand corner, you press that, the map goes away, the app goes away. Then just go into and find Maps and download the one you want. Yep.
Awesome.
Now, also, I was just, before the show, I was going through some information, and I found a new podcast. Now, I haven't listened to it yet, and I think they're up to episode 2, I think. That's called ForgottenAustralia.com. So it's called Forgotten Australia is the podcast. Episode 1 commemorates Annie Egan, who died 100 years ago today, trying to keep Spanish flu out of Sydney.
Oh, wow.
Episode 2 was about a 1923 Melbourne police strike, which resulted in a weekend of anarchy engulfing the city. And
That was by the police because Melbourne cops are corrupt ass.
So, forgottenaustralia.com is the name of the website. If you go there and maybe subscribe to it, listen to it. I'll be listening to the first couple of episodes, definitely.
Can I chuck one in there?
Yeah, please, mate.
There's a thing called The Conversation, which is a you've heard of that one?
Yeah, that's the ABC one with.
Yes. Yep. Yeah. Well, they've got a podcast, so you can actually have something like spoken rather than just having to watch articles. And so they called it "Trust Me, I'm an Expert." So the same approach where they get an academic who's qualified in that certain area to talk about something and they run for like between 20 and 30 minutes. I've only listened to a few, but it's a bit like listening to the Aussie Tech Radio. If you just want something going in the background that's just interesting to keep you, interested. Yeah, I thoroughly recommend that one.
Yeah, awesome. I've heard of it too. I haven't had a chance to listen to it, but I know what you're talking about, so I'll check it out.
So has anybody got anything else to add?
I haven't got any new podcasts. I've just been listening to my old-timey radio Superman stuff.
I had one last thing on my list if I
can. Please, mate. Yeah.
There's an app called 1Password. You can find it on iTunes. Now, this is a one you do pay for, I think, and it's not cheap. I think it was either $50 or $90. Okay, and you think, oh my God, what am I doing paying that much money? But it stores all my passwords. I've got notes on it. I've got credit cards on it, which I've never trusted before for any app. And so the big part of that is if I'm actually online buying something, I've got the credit cards, including work credit cards, are in there. And I just click on it, it'll populate the screen pretty accurately. So I'm not farting around with my wallet trying to do things. But also it links into an app on the phone. And so if I'm wanting to find a password, and of course with the iPhone I can use my thumbprint identification. So if I'm stuck somewhere and I've actually got to come up with a credit card number, I just go, just a minute. And so if I change either on my iMac or my laptop, because it goes to both. If I change those, then in the phone will be the updated data as well. It just all syncs in. And it uses a series of, the passwords to get into it are pretty secure because it's like a bit like a short sentence.
Yeah.
So that's, harder to crack into. And just the most convenient thing ever. And I have tried a couple of the freebie ones, and they're just nowhere near as reliable. So
I wouldn't recommend putting any passwords in a freebie one.
No, definitely not.
And
another
advantage of the 1Password one is that you can, if you're going overseas, because you can store them in the cloud, you can put it so that there's only one or no passwords on your phone, so that when you actually go, you go to New Zealand now and you've got to give them your phone. You don't have to have any passwords on your phone. When you get to the hotel, in New Zealand, it's against the law not to hand your phone over when they ask for it, and not to open it for them when you ask.
Who's that? Police and stuff like that. You have to give it to them.
No, this is when you go through customs.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah. So if they say, "Show me your phone," you can't say, "Here it is," but I'm not going to unlock it. That's what we say, 15 grand fine or something straight away. Massive amount of money. But with 1Password, you can take all your passwords off the phone, and then when you get to your hotel, you can download them and put them back on your phone while you're travelling.
Oh, clever man.
So yeah, that's another thing. Well, you might be going to China or something. I don't know where you're going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There we go.
So I don't think we've got anything else. That was great.
Okay.
Thank you very, very much, David.
That was good. Thank you, gentlemen. Thoroughly enjoyed myself. Thank you for your
Thank you, David. Yeah.
Excellent.
Pleased to meet you.
We'll get you back again. That would be great.
Would love to.
Yeah, easy. Yeah, it's my friend. Easy. Now, don't forget our show promotion. We've got the show notes link. When you download the show, they're on there. Spotify, you just search for Aussie Mac Zone. And this week's sponsors, startnewcompany.com.au and athwebhosting.com.au. Thank you very much to those people. And more importantly, the listeners. Thank you very, very much, our listeners. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Now I hand it over to Zarn.
Thanks to the sponsors. Thanks to the listeners. And remember, apple a day keeps the androids away. See you guys.
There you go. That wasn't so hard, was it, David?
That was good fun. Yes. Yeah. Very smooth. You guys have really got it down pat. Yes. So yeah, that was good fun. Thank you very much.
You can just work out why the audio doesn't work sometimes.